Well, hey everybody, I'm the Crockett Cooner, and this is the Crockett Coonhound Show, and you've made it to Fireside Chats with the old Cooner. And tonight, guys, I am talking about a video that I feel very passionate about, and I've actually tried to make this video a few times. I didn't really know how I wanted to say it, but I finally figured it out, and that is why I think I have finally got it right this time, guys. And I'm going to call this video Going Primal. I want to ask my followers, because I know there's a lot of folks that have in fact followed us here at the Crockett Coonhound Show. They're survivalists, they're naturalists, they're outdoor people. You know, they hunt, they fish, they're homesteaders. They are, or have in times past, in fact, somewhat gone primal. And I think I have a lot of people that follow me, that idea that getting out in nature, you know, taking the least amount of camping supplies with you and trying to somewhat survive off the land, that idea appeals to them. But you know, they see a lot of folks on TV and they're professionals at it and they've learned some ideas and things, but they still haven't took that step to try. And that's why the old Cooner here, guys, is going to say, well, you know what, I think you need to pick what level of engagement you want to go primal at. Now, keeping in mind you're a pretty healthy person, no underlying health conditions, of sound mind and body, and if you've never done it before, guys, you pick a time in which the weather is good. You know, I'm going to urge my followers that are saying, you know, well, I don't have a lot of money, or well, I don't have a lot of time. How about this, guys? How about getting you a small $20 charcoal grill and a small pop-up tent? Just hitting the backyard early spring, you know, staying out there all weekend, sleeping on the ground, take the family dog with you. See what you learn about yourself when you do it. All right? You know, make it up in your mind. You're going to stay out there Friday night, Saturday night, maybe Sunday night. You know, for folks that want a little bit more level of engagement, maybe you've been camping and things. Is there a local park or something somewhere where you can in fact go? You know, keep the car in eye shot, pop up a tent just in case you need it, but yet sleep out on the ground. Take the minimal amount of supplies. Find out if you can in fact make a fire without a lighter, or maybe you only feel comfortable having a lighter or matches with you. That's what I want to ask my followers, if you have in fact tried it. Now, myself, guys, I kind of went through levels there. I think when I was a mighty young man in my early 20s, myself and 6 other gentlemen, we went over to LBL, which is Land Between the Lakes in West Tennessee. We went on about a 14-day deer hunting trip over there. Now, the trucks were in fact an eye shot. We had a tent, but we only had like 2 lawn chairs, and being young guys, all we brought with us was like about a case of Vienna sausages and a case of beer and a case of water. And well, that was about it. And we made our minds up on the way, hey, if one of us gets a deer, we're going to check this thing in, we're going to clean it, and that's what we're going to eat, you know. And pretty much so, guys, that's kind of what we did, you know. And I think we got 2 deers on that trip. Actually, we didn't do well hunting at all, but I learned something about myself, and that's why I'm so passionate about this video, guys. Now, there was another time later on I went more on over in the winter time. No tent, just a sleeping bag. Took my hound dogs with me, and when it dropped off cool there one night and I slept on the ground, the meaning of a 1 dog, 2 dog, 3 dog night, it meant something totally different to me, guys. I had a different understanding about the outdoors and nature after that. And I think there's a lot of folks that follow us here at the Crockett Coonhound Show. You guys are in fact, you know, the types of folks that'll go out, you'll stay, you know, you've been guides and everything, you hunt, you fish, homesteaders and everything. You know, you go out, you kind of live off the land. But I think we have a lot of folks that would like to try this, but they don't really know how to go about doing it. So I'm going to urge those people, you know what, keep the safety net there at first. Go to a local park. Keep the car in eye shot. Try it there in your backyard. Maybe go out of town. Find somebody that has a farm. Explain what you want to do. Tell them you won't mess nothing up. You'll leave it the way you found it. Just go to the back of their property there. Camp one night. Camp 2 nights. See what you think about it. Find out what it's like, guys. Now, I'll have to tell you a little story from the old Cooner here, guys. If any of you have ever seen the movie The Castaway with Tom Hanks, there at the end, he did a great job in that film. I think there's a lot of other outdoor people that have seen that before, where he's been back for about a month and he goes in, there's a great buffet set up, and he picks up a crab legs there, and he looks at it, and he picks up a little click grill lighter, and he looks at it, and he's like making his mind up about it. And then later you see him, and he's laying on the floor beside the bed, and he's clicking the light on and off, and he's watching it. And I think for a lot of people that have said, you know what, I'm going to go out, I'm going to survive, that may be 2 days, that may be a week. For some folks, that may have been a year or two. That scene of that movie, it has a whole different meaning to you. It does to me too, guys. On our trip that time to LBL for 14 days, the gentlemen that were the truck ahead of us, they got there about an hour earlier, set the tent up. And I had an intimate affair with a little root, guys. It grew out of the ground, and no matter how I turned, that root was underneath my back there the whole time. And after about day 3, I made it out by the campfire and laid out there. And lo and behold, some of the other folks that were with me, the root ran the length of the tent. And they found themselves sleeping out there by the campfire with their feet propped up, keeping their toes warm. And throughout the time, the fire died down. You'd have to get up and stoke it up if you needed to, or there would be dew fall on you while you're laying on the ground sleeping. And that does something up here, guys. It teaches you something. It lets you understand, for those of you that have decided to somewhat go primal, that's what I'm going to call it, that our ancestors, to make it to where they were and to get all of us here, they were a bit more rough and tough, a bit more rogue. They valued things a bit differently than what we did. And like I said in that scene in The Castaway, I can almost hear his thoughts when he's clicking that lighter, because on about day 12, when I was high atop a tree stand and my back was sore from a root that I'd slept on, and I had that early morning shiver that right about daybreak where you jerk a little bit. I looked over at a little redbird sitting on a limb next to me. He jerked too. And I finally understood that, how nice it would be to make it back up there to that fire, but luckily we had one going. But if you've never tried to start one, even though a lot of folks here on the internet, myself included, in the fire pit some time ago, we make it look easy. But if everything there is wet, a lot of that you can't really teach, guys. You have to go out there and learn it for yourself. That helps a lot of folks. So I want to encourage my followers that have never took that next step, but you've sat around, you've said, hey, I'd like to try that surviving thing, but you don't want to backpack 20 miles up into the mountains where there's grizzly bear. You don't want to be in some Amazon jungle somewhere. You need a little safety net still, because you're still learning. Even for the best people, something could happen to them. I suggest that you guys just give it a go, like the old Cooner here said. And after you go out and you find out about yourself, good or bad, that could be that you woke up on day 3 with a neck pain, and by day 4 it hurt so bad you had to turn your whole upper body to look around. Maybe you sat by a creek and cried for 3 hours, it hurt so bad. I don't know, but I guarantee you of this, if you comment it down below, myself and Scooter, we won't make fun of you, because we are in fact outdoor people, and we've gone primal before. And we are going to basically say, well, you learned something about yourself, didn't you? Learned something about the outdoors. And that knowledge there, and overcoming that, will in fact help you the next time. But I hope on the positive side that you all go and you say, you know what, we had a great time. We're going to try this again, but I think this time we're not even maybe taking a tent. We're just going to take sleeping bags. Maybe you took the dog with you. Same thing as before, but you're like, you know what, this time instead of the backyard, we're going to go to a park. We're going to see what it's like, experience, anytime you want to sit down, not taking a lawn chair with you, sitting on the ground, sitting on a log, rolling up a bedroll or something and sitting on it and sitting there and eating and talking to everybody. And after you do this, guys, if any of you, after you see my video, say, you know what, I think the Cooner's right, I'm gonna get my friend, we're gonna try this. Come back, comment down below, good or bad, tell us what you found, what you learned up here about being outdoors. See if you can kind of touch on that part of the movie there from the Castaway where you see as he's watching the lighter click how casual and convenient that is compared to having to do it by your hands. So I hope that little talk there helps some of my followers. I hope it encourages you to go out and to take that other step. Maybe even if you're in an area where you can, find some folks that are into survival and things. Tell them, say, hey, never done this before, and they go every weekend or they go out and stay for a week or two. Tell them, say, I'd like to try this. Do you guys mind if I walk along with you? Could we go somewhere short? Could I stay with you there a couple of days, see what it's like to camp, see what it's like to be out there, see what it's like. You may be in an area where in the middle of the night you're trying to sleep, and you'll learn that you become much more acute to sound, guys, and then you'll hear snap and your eyes will open and you'll look over and then come back home, come in your house where it's nice and soft, sit down, air's controlled and everything, and take a moment and come back to this video and tell me what you've learned about being outside, and what you have in fact learned about the conveniences of home and things. Because I believe that's part of it, guys. When you go primal, it's what you learn up here, what you learn in the outdoors, not only about yourself, but what the outdoors teach you. How actually, I follow a lot of folks that go into some terrain myself. They're out where there's big predatory animals, grizzly bears, wolves and things. And they learned quite quickly, well, when I'm out there, I'm actually in his home. Just because you know how to do something there in the outdoors. Myself, I'll pick on myself, guys. I could stand there in front of a grizzly bear all day long and tell him, hey, you can't eat me. I've been to college. That's right. And as he's eating me, he can tell his friends, look, I'm eating a smart guy. Yeah, you learn these things in the outdoors, guys. How, our ancestors were when they were more primal than us, when they were more natural into the land. We have folks probably that follow us. I'm just speculating here. Have you ever walked around outside barefooted? Just give it a go one time. Take your shoes off, walk across the backyard and walk back. See what it feels like. And then come back to this video right here where I've urged all of my followers to, in fact, go primal. And just tell us what you found. Did it feel the way you think it would? Was there sharp objects, soft objects? Tell us what you found about it, Just kind of walking around like that, or sleeping out on the ground, or sitting on the ground, or being out in the stars. Tell us how you as a person changed from the outdoors. Because myself and Scooter, we would love to hear all of your comments. Just stick it down below, guys. But I wanted to take a second. I wanted to make this particular fireside chat. Like I said, guys, been trying to make this video forever. I just couldn't quite seem to get it the way I wanted to. But I think I finally did on this one. But I will always err on the side of safety. And for any of you that want to go out, live off the land, be a bit rogue, become primal, I'm always going to say it, definitely, guys. Stay safe on the water, stay safe in the woods, and stay tuned here at the Crockett Coonhound Show. And myself and Scooter will have you another video dropping shortly. And if you are going to go primal, do your homework before you go. If you're carrying the bare necessities, ask yourself, is there any chance I need this? Definitely check with someone before you go. Let them know your plans if it's the first time you've ever gone. And especially if you're going to go by yourself, I suggest adding a friend and maybe even the family dog. But I hope that helps you all. You folks have a great day.